Please pause this video and answer the question before continuing. Alright, as always, we'll begin by reading the question stem. Which of the following is an assumption that would allow the portfolio manager's conclusion to be properly drawn? This wording clearly indicates an assumption question. It also tells us that if the passage has more than one conclusion, we are interested in the portfolio manager's conclusion. Alright, at this point we'll read the passage with the assumption strategy in mind. The first sentence says, a leading investment firm has issued new rules that prevent its portfolio managers from short selling stocks for their corporate clients. This is clearly a premise, and it tells us that there are new rules that prevent short selling. We might summarize this as follows. Alright, the next sentence reads, one portfolio manager has concluded that this restriction prevents portfolio managers from providing above average investment returns for their corporate clients. This is the conclusion. Now, before we summarize this conclusion, notice just how strong it is. It doesn't say that the restriction makes it harder for managers to make big returns for their clients. It says that the restriction prevents managers from making big returns for their clients. This is a very strong conclusion, and as a general rule, it's a good idea to pay extra attention to strong conclusions. Alright, to summarize this conclusion, we might write the following. Alright, so that's the entire argument, one premise and one conclusion. Given that there is only one premise here, it's likely that several assumptions are necessary to justify the conclusion. Let's try to identify one. Well, a good way to identify assumptions is to look for new language in the conclusion. In this argument, the premise is all about short selling, but the conclusion introduces the idea of making big money. This leap suggests that there must be an unstated premise that links short selling to making big money. So one assumption here might be that short selling is necessary to making big money, which we might summarize as follows. Alright, now that we've identified one assumption, let's check the answer choices. To begin, answer choice A says, investment firms should not restrict the ways in which portfolio managers manage their clients' funds. Is this assumption necessary to draw the conclusion that the new rules stop managers from making big money for their corporate clients? No, it just says that there should not be such restrictions, so we'll eliminate it. Next, answer choice B says, portfolio managers can provide above average returns for their corporate clients only by short selling stocks. In other words, the managers have no other means of making big money for their corporate clients. Is this assumption necessary to draw the conclusion that the new rules stop managers from making big money for their corporate clients? You bet. If the managers cannot short sell, then they have no other way to make big money for their corporate clients. Now, if we have any doubts about this answer choice, we can apply the negation technique. If we negate answer choice B, we get it is not the case that portfolio managers can provide above average returns for their corporate clients only by short selling stocks. In other words, the managers can use techniques other than short selling to make big money for their clients. Does this destroy the conclusion that the new rules stop managers from making big money for their clients? Absolutely. If the managers have other ways to make big money, then the restriction does not prevent them from making big money. Since the negated assumption destroys the conclusion, answer choice B looks like a great candidate for the correct answer. So we'll leave it for now. Now let's check answer choice C. Short selling is a technique used primarily for corporate clients. Is this assumption necessary to draw the conclusion that the new rules stop managers from making big money for their clients? No. The fact that short selling is used primarily with corporate clients has no effect on the conclusion, so we'll eliminate it. Next we have answer choice D. Portfolio managers often use short selling techniques to provide above average returns for their corporate clients. Is this assumption necessary to draw the conclusion that the new rules stop managers from making big money for their corporate clients? Well, this one might be tempting, since it seems to link short selling to making big money for corporate clients. If we're in doubt, we can apply the negation technique. We'll say that it is not the case that portfolio managers often used short selling techniques to provide above average returns for their corporate clients. What does this negation mean? Does it mean that the portfolio managers never used short selling techniques? No, it just means that it was not a common occurrence. So if it were the case that short selling was not a common occurrence, would this destroy the conclusion that the new rules stop managers from making big money for their corporate clients? No, it does not, so we'll eliminate it. Finally, we have E. Before the investment firm issued the new rules, portfolio managers were not permitted to short sell stocks. Is this assumption necessary to draw the conclusion that the new rules stop managers from making big money for their clients? No. Whether or not the portfolio managers used to be allowed to short sell has no effect on whether or not the new restriction prevents managers from making big money for their clients. So we'll eliminate it. At this point, we're left with answer choice B, which is the best answer.